welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing amazing. So today I thought I would do a book recommendations tag. So while I'm still trying to get into it, YouTube that is, I thought this would be a great way to showcase some more of the books that I love. This is a book recommendations tag that I picked up from Steph Bohr. I will leave her video linked down below in the description. So you can check out the one that she did, and that is where I've kind of gotten the inspiration from this. I have got 14 questions that I am going to answer today. I will also leave those written down in the description box below. I would love to see any of your videos where you do this tag, so if you do, please let me know and pop it down in the comments. That would be amazing, and I will check out your video. So the tag we're going to start with is a book that you tell everyone is your favourite. Quick pause to see if you can guess already what you think mine might be here. A book that I tell everyone is my favourite would be Magnolia Parks. Any book in this entire universe, but especially this first one, that captured my heart in a way that I don't think anything else will. So, a book that you tell everyone is your favourite, 100% Magnolia Parks for me. The next prompt is a book that is your guilty pleasure. Now I have two that are in the same series for this. Pretty much anything in the Lancaster Prep series for me. I think these are such toxic romance books, but I eat them up, I devour them. This is Things I Wanted to Say But Never Did and A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, and I also have a couple of others in the series on my shelf, but these two are definitely my favourites out of this series, and I ate them up. I love them. I know they have mixed reviews due to their levels of toxicity, so that would be why they're probably a guilty pleasure for me personally. The next prompt is then a book everyone else loved but you didn't, and I think the one that I'm going for this is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now this was one of the first books that I picked up when I started getting back into my reading journey. I read so many positive reviews on this, that how unique the story was, and I just didn't get that. It was not my favourite book. It didn't really give me those kinds of vibe. It was forgettable. I mean, I remember what happened in it, but I have no relation to the characters. I don't really think about them. I wasn't rooting for any of these characters when I was reading the book. So to me, although the reviews on this were insane, it didn't hit where I wanted it to hit. Sorry. The next one is a book you read the fastest, and this book is a recent read for me. That book is Flawless by Elsie Silver. I don't know how much I was expecting to like this, but I opened it at the beginning of the day. It was a chill weekend. I thought, oh, I'll start it. I've got the whole series now, so I thought I'll start it. I couldn't stop. I literally couldn't stop. I finished it in a single day. And that is unlike me with books. I read them quickly, but single day is definitely pushing it. But 100% just whizzed through. And I'm already on the second one. I started that yesterday, and I reckon I'll probably finish the second one today or tomorrow. So that's going to be a 2 or 3 day read. So 100% this Flawless by Elsie Silver, the fastest book I think I've ever read. And I loved it. It was fantastic. The next prompt is a book you think deserves more hype, and I have 3 that are in the same series for this prompt. And the books I've chosen for this are the Avalon Bay series by Elle Kennedy. Now I don't think I've ever seen a single TikTok video, and I don't know whether I've even ever seen them mentioned in a YouTube video before, but we have Good Girl Complex, Bad Girl Reputation, and The Summer Girl. These are the 3 that are out. I don't know whether there are going to be any more as of yet, but The Summer Girl is one that I finished recently. But yeah, I don't think I've seen any videos on these books. I just saw them, I think I bought the first one in the works, quite cheap, and then I've then gone on to buy the next two because I think they're fantastic. They are a really cute small town beach romance, all of them, and I really enjoyed them. So if you haven't, 100% pick these up. A book you have reread the most? Miss Magnolia Parks. There's not really much to say about that. It's my favourite book ever, so I've definitely picked it up. I've reread the whole thing once before, as well as rereading specific little chunks throughout the book that I love. So quick one for this prompt because I've already spoken about this series way too many times. And then we've got a prompt, a book from a genre you don't normally read. Now, I struggle with this because I am a romance girly, like through and through. But I do have two books on my shelf that are ones that I don't normally read. So I'll talk you through them both. The first one is The Kindness Pact by Dominique. I'm not even going to try, but you can see here. This is like a self-help book that I kind of pick up and sort of go through when I'm feeling low. It's just a really nice little non-fiction read. On the front, it reads 8 promises to make you feel good about who you are and the life you live. My sister bought it for me for a birthday or Christmas a little while back. So yeah, this is a genre that I don't normally read, being it's non-fiction, but I do like picking it up whenever I'm having potentially a down day. The other one that I can kind of pick up for that prompt would be A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I've not read this yet. It's been on my shelf a fair few months. I'm not a fantasy girly. I'm just not. But I know how much this series has kind of turned some people who weren't fantasy girlies, readers, whatever we want to say, into fantasy readers. So I'm sure I'll pick it up at some point. But yeah, this is another genre, a book from a genre that I just would not normally read. We've then got a book that deserves all the hype it gets. And I think for me that is Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I loved this book. This was a 5-star read for me. I think it's such a healthy romance compared to quite a lot of the toxicity that you see in romance books, the miscommunication, all of that jazz. This did not have that. This was great. So yeah, if you're someone that prefers a kind of a healthy, attainable, aspirable, I'm not sure that's a word, but this kind of romance, I reckon you would really enjoy this, and I think it deserves all the hype that it gets. I'm so much looking forward to reading Wildfire when it comes out next month. It's already on pre-order, and I think I'm probably going to love anything Hannah Grace writes. I just really enjoyed this writing. The next prompt is a book you usually recommend when asked. Now, I don't have the physical copy of this book on me right now, but I'll insert a picture here, and my book would be Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. This is a recent read for me, but I will continue to recommend it to anyone. It's quite short, it's a standalone, and the story is just so beautiful. You're watching the past and present of 2 teenagers falling in love, and then you're seeing them as adults and navigating the life that they're now living. I just think it was so beautiful, and I will probably continue to recommend this for a while. And then we have a book with your favourite characters. This is a very easy one for me. Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. I loved the character development in this book. I love the found family that these friends have. I just love this series so much, and this book was no different. Absolutely adored it. They are my favourite characters. I think about them all the time. If I could meet the real life Magnolia and BJ, life would be complete. So I love these guys, I love these characters. This book is fantastic. I really recommend that you read Magnolia Parks. Now we have the tag, a book you wish you could live in. Now excuse me for not having the first one, but the Knock 'Em Out series. Things We Never Got Over is currently being lent out to a friend. So we have Things We Hide from the Light and Things We Left Behind. The second 2 books in the Knock 'Em Out series. I would love to live in Knock 'Em Out, so much. I think it would be such a cute small town to live in. This one follows Nash and Nina, and this one follows Lucian and Sloane. I've literally just finished this one yesterday morning. This is the last book in the trilogy, so if you haven't picked it up and you've never visited Knock 'Em Out before, take this as your sign to go and pick up a copy. I believe if you're in the UK, I think these are all in the works at the minute for like £6 each. So run and grab them. The next prompt is a book you thought you were going to hate but ended up loving. Now I think hate is a bit of a strong word, but The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary had been on my TBR for ages. It had been on my shelf. I'd looked at it, I'd flicked through it, I'd read the blurb so many times, and I had never gotten to the point where I picked it up and read it. And I think by that point I just didn't think I was going to enjoy it, because I thought, oh, if I was going to like it, I'd have just wanted to read it already, and I hadn't. But then I did read it, and it's such a cute rom-com. I think for me, I laughed, I found it intriguing, I thought that the premise was a bit unique, and I ended up really enjoying it. It isn't a favourite book, but I did really enjoy it, and I didn't expect to. So I went into this with really low expectations. I thought maybe I wouldn't even finish it, I'd like get through it, but her writing was so funny and so heartwarming, and I believe I did get through this pretty quickly. I think it was only a few days. So 100% this was a book that I didn't think I was going to enjoy and ended up really, really liking. We then have a book that made you cry. Now this was the first book that I ever read getting back into reading again. Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This was what kickstarted my love for reading again, and all of these books that you've just seen all came after this one book. I loved it. It was a 5-star read then, and I believe it will always be a 5-star because it's got such a special place in my heart for making me fall back in love with reading. I was such a reader as a kid, but definitely fell out of love with it. So growing up, reading this for the first time, but it was sad. There was definitely moments in this where I was screaming at these characters and I was trying to beg them to just see the way that they should be, and there was a lot of emotions, and it definitely made me sob. So this one. And then the last prompt is a book you wish you could read for the first time, and I'm afraid we are going back to my favourites. If I could read Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home again with fresh eyes and not knowing how it ends, not knowing how these characters develop, I would. In a heartbeat. The way this book ends still haunts me. I'm so not going to give anything away, so you 100% need to read for yourself. Oh my god. I don't even know the words to use to describe this, because I know I probably annoy people by how much I love these books, but they are incredible. So 100% Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home would be the book that I would read for the first time if given the chance. Thank you so much for watching all of that and listening to the books that I would put into each of these different tags. I had so much fun kind of going back through my bookshelf and potentially looking at some books that I haven't read in a while, and bringing them out, and definitely kind of bringing my attention to maybe a few that I need to kind of get into sooner rather than later. But yeah, I would love to know any of your answers to those questions below. I think my biggest one is, what is a book you would want to read for the first time? What is the book you've read and you would absolutely adore reading it for the first time? Please let me know in the comments below. That would be great. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Please do give it a subscribe and maybe share it with your friends if you're interested and liked the content. I absolutely love putting all these together. So all the best. Bye.